Hi guys, this is a first review, if you will, well, a first impressions look at some new gear that I've just acquired. I went out and I purchased a Preston Inertia 320 reel to go with a new feeder rod, which is the Preston Monster X carp feeder 9 foot. I've got this now for use on some of the lakes that I'm going to, because they're only small lakes. When I'm on the wild natural waters, of course, I'm using a 12 footer cadence quiver tip rod or feeder rod, which is brilliant. It can handle pretty much anything I throw at it, and it's nice and soft when I'm going for small skimmers and roach as well at distance. The other rod that I had was the Drennan Red Range carp feeder, and there was just something about it that wasn't quite right for my way of fishing. You know, everyone has their preferences, but it was a 10 footer as well. I wanted something a bit shorter. I didn't want to go as short as something like a 7 foot wand or anything like that, but when I seen the 9 footers, I was between Preston, I think Daiwa did one, and Drennan do one on the Vertex range as well. Now I had a look at those and all. But to show you what they're like, and we're going to have a look at the balance of it, we'll get the rod out of the sleeve first. And what I have took it out, of course, to look at it. And what I've done basically is I've just put one of the tips in for now. Put that one there, and of course this part here. And what I'll show, just for the sake of the cloth bag, as with everything that you buy nowadays, is decent. It's made of good material, it's strong, stitching's good, it's not going to go nowhere. Yeah, cloth bag's great. I would prefer a made up rod sleeve, but you can get that at a later date. You get 3 tips with it. Now I've got one in there, and the one that I've got in there at the moment is the 1 ounce tip, and you've also got a 3/4 ounce and a 1.5 ounce, so from 3/4 all the way up to 1.5 ounce. I'm pretty sure you can purchase other tips, but that's the ones that they give you with it. Now the rod itself, just to go through the butt section before I put it together, is got a small section of cork. As you can see, it's got a screw down reel seat, which is quite solid, nicely well put on. You've got this lovely flat sort of EVA styled handle at the base that just, you know, sits under the arm, lovely and nice and flat for when you're playing a fish. The finish itself, of course, on all Preston gear and anything like that is really, really nice. You got the nice logo in there, a bit of blue, smooth, silky-like finish sort of thing. Nice big wide eyes as well for when you're doing your feeder fishing, which I do like. I like having the bigger eyes on it. And if I put it together, just like that, now, there you go. It's not too long, it's not too short. It should be great for when you're working in these tight little swims. There's your little 1 ounce tip with a yellow bit on the end. It's got lovely progressive action right the way through. Really has. It's really nicely done. It's nice and light as well. So that, to me, feels great. It really does. It feels nice in the hand. It's got a nice length. The handle's nicely well spaced for someone like me for just flicking out a nice little delicate cast to a far margin on an island or something. Probably wouldn't want to be casting more than, I'm going to say 30 metres with this, something like that. That'd be your range with these. Any further than that and you're going to start losing accuracy, I think, a bit. But the reel that I'm going to put on it, I'll show you the reel closer up now if I may. I'll just put that there. That is it's a budget reel, if you will. It's the Preston Inertia 320, yeah, 320, like that. Now I've loaded it with Guru Pulse Pro line, which is on here. I've just put £6 line because I think that will be quite adequate for a short range cast and for landing what I'm mostly going to be fishing for, which is going to be anything like bream up to 4 or 5 pound and carp to probably 4 or 5, maybe even £6. You never know, there might even be a couple of double figures. but I think £8 would handle it as well. £8 would be adequate. But I'm just trying to come down in weight just for presentation wise and things like that. I know it doesn't really matter when you're feeder fishing, but just for my own sake. But if I pair it on it anyway, I've not had these two together yet. Flies all over me. Love summer. At least we've got some sunshine left, eh? Get that there. Shouldn't have screwed the reel seat down so far. And it sits on there. Like so. Now the balance of that is not that bad. Where's your balance point? It's normally just about just off the top. There's your balance point. So there's your balance point there for that reel. That's the 3000 series reel, if you will. And that feels just nice in the hand for casting and reeling. The reel itself is very, very smooth, I'll give it that. But that feels just perfect. I think if you put a 4000 series or a 420 on here as they call it, I think it might be a little bit heavy. Maybe you prefer it that way, I don't know. I think it comes down to personal preference. But that to me is just about right for that. Put a nice little one out there. Now to go through a few of the features of them. On the rod yourself, you've got your retainer for putting your hook on, you know, when you're not using it. Like I say, nice big wide open eyes. You can see that fitting my finger through at the bottom here. That's to help with the flow of the line when you feeder fishing and casting. And they're fairly substantial sized eyes all the way up to the tip. So that is really, really something nice, that. Like I say, the reel seat is good and solid. That ain't going nowhere. It feels good on the hand. It's, like I say, it fits perfect under the arms as well. That we'll give it that. And as for the reel, like I say, I've got this Guru line on. I've never used Guru pulse line before. I went through a phase of trying all sorts of lines, just to see if there was anything out there to get me away from using Maxima, which I've done most of my life, because Maxima is one of the best all-round lines on the planet. No two ways about it. I've tried Drennan. Drennan's feeder line is very, very good, very strong, but I find that it does tend to kink easy. I've used Drennan float fishing line, and that, I can tell you now, if you don't spool that up right, it becomes a nightmare, absolute nightmare. But other than that, it's not too bad. It's as far as I'll go. I used some Map, which was good. Shakespeare line, I'd avoid that at all costs at the moment. And now I've gone on to the Guru. Now the Guru pole line that I use for doing my rigs, second to none, can't fault it. But this one is going to be interesting. When I spooled it up, it was nice, it was soft, low stretch, which is nice. And we'll see how it fares. You know, it seems strong for £6 line, it really does. But we will see. Now on the reel, I'm going to show you again. You've got your quick reverse here, access. If I go into full reverse mode, and it locks up nice and solid and straight. As soon as you stop reeling, it stops. There's no fall back, there's no click, nothing. The drag itself is fairly nice and smooth. It's got a nice little sound to it. Doesn't feel too bad either. It's fairly responsive. A few turns, and it gets softer. It is a 5.01 ratio on the retrieve. It's also, on a retrieve, will gather back about 3/4 of a metre, I believe, per turn of the reel. So nearly a metre's worth of line per turn of the handle. And that's pretty adequate, in fairness, especially when you're only fishing short ranges. It means you're going to get those fish under control fairly sharpish, and maybe hopefully keep them away from any snags that they're going to be trying to get to. It's made out of mostly a metal finish, by the feel of it, like a matte metal finish, with a nice solid handle, metal spool with a plastic cap, and fairly well built. And I'm not going to lie, for £35, that is a bargain reel. That really is a bargain reel for that price. I struggle to believe the quality of it, in fairness, for that price. I'd recommend, if you wanted a spare reel, or if you're a pleasure angler who's looking for a reel for even float fishing, it doesn't have to be feeder fishing, this could be well in there for you. Of this £6 line that I've got on here, I've got about 100 I'm going to say 150 meters on there, so that's what that spool holds on the 3000 or 320. So yeah, if you were going to load it with 3 or 4 pound line for float fishing, you might want a bit of backing or buy a 300 meter spool. Other than that, I think if you put 8 pound line on it, 100 meters, fill it, no problem. So yeah, that's the first impressions of the reel and the first impressions of the 9-foot Monster X rod. I'm going to be hopefully using these tomorrow when I go for a little pleasure session up at the club water and see how they fare. With any luck, they'll get a good thorough testing, although with the hot bright sunshine it might not be as prolific as I'm hoping. Just to give you another thing about the rod here, the line rating that it states on the rod is 4 to 8 pound, so you wouldn't want to be loading it with too strong a line, and the casting rating on it is 30 grams, so smallish feeders, bombs, things like that. Maybe something like a 15-20 gram method if you wanted to. Other than that, 15 gram swim feeders, 20 gram swim feeders loaded, that should do the job nicely. So there you go, there's the 9-foot Monster X feeder rod and the Inertia reel 320. The rod itself, just for the last off, is ranging in tackle shops between 85 and 90 pound really, and it is a nice bit of kit, and they do all different sizes from, I think, from a 7-footer up to 12. So there you are. I shall hopefully be testing out, and I'll see you on the bank. Cheerio, bye.